Everybody, and welcome to Confident Compounding with Corey Kramer. I've been pretty busy, even though I haven't put out too many videos the past couple weeks. Been kind of, one, updating all my spreadsheets and data for the end of the quarter. Two, I've been retooling a little bit some of the methods or techniques that I'm using for valuations and purchases. And the last couple of videos that I've made have kind of been related to those things. I'm kind of teeing up those small tweaks that I'm going to be making. But starting probably tomorrow, I'll be back to doing the individual stock analysis like I've done a lot on the channel, with kind of the changes that I've made, and starting to integrate those more into the current kind of evaluation updates and requests that I've gotten. So I haven't forgotten about those requests. I just didn't want to put out too many of them right before I changed and tweaked things a little bit. So it's kind of weird to do one style of analysis like one day and then the very next day have like a slightly different. I mean, you can do that or whatever, but it's just a little weird. So I wanted to put out a couple videos where I explained kind of some of the concepts behind the changes, even though I didn't directly talk about it necessarily, before I kind of made that little shift. And then the end of quarter is a good time to do that. So that's what we have coming up. So this video is about how my buy ideas from the YouTube channel and also from my weekly picks on Patreon have performed. For the public YouTube ones, I'll have the names and everything on here along with the dates of the videos. For the weekly picks, I won't have the names of the stocks, but I'll show you the performance and how it breaks down, and I'll talk about that. So weekly picks are over on Patreon for $25 a month, and each week I find the best stock that I can in the market that week, and that is the weekly pick. So even if nothing's perfect, I just try to find the best thing I think that week every single week, unless I'm on vacation or something. So that's how that works. Now I have a full service. I'm not going to get into those performance metrics and everything. I'm just going to focus on the buy suggestions and the weekly picks so you guys can kind of see how things are doing. Now in the last kind of performance update quarter ago, because everything had been so lumpy when I was trying to, I don't really make buy video. So if I make a buy video, I only do that for stocks that I actually buy. And the same goes for the weekly picks. But it keeps me from what a lot of people do is, whatever's popular, whatever gets views, whatever people already will agree with you with. It's really easy to have a financial channel or service that tells people what they want to hear and kind of hypes everything up more and kind of just jumps on the train. I've never done that. So investing my own money helps with that. I'm not going to buy anything that I wouldn't buy for myself or make a buy video on it. So, but that can lead to kind of lumpy situations where there'll be a bunch of buys sometimes, like in April of this year. Or you'll have periods where there really isn't a whole lot of, especially on the strategies I share with the public, where there might not be very many buys. So in my last update, I realized it was kind of extreme, and I kind of promised that at least once every 2 months I would have some kind of buy on the public YouTube free channel. And so I did that. So that was in July. And we have one pick every single month so far. So, I mean, and they're all doing decent. Align was just a couple weeks ago. So the overall return, so I started this channel and ran about a 3-month experiment in 2021. And then I made a couple videos in 2023, in 2021, and maybe 1 or 2 throughout the year after that. Until October of 2023, when I relaunched the YouTube channel as a real full-time, ready, steady producing content channel. So we have one left over from 2021 that we haven't sold, and that's Meta. But the rest of these have come after I relaunched the YouTube channel, starting in 2023. So let's see, of the holdings that we still have, which are what, like 19 of them. So they've returned an average 43%, almost 44% compared to the S&P 500's 30%. So we're outperforming the S&P 500 significantly if it was purchased on the same date as the buy videos. So the one stock that we did take profits in this quarter was Micron. That's why it's highlighted orange here. I will move that over into this area on the right, which are stocks we've taken profits in. So these are half cells, just as why they're in lowercase here. And these go back all the way to when I was making videos in, I guess it was early 2022, right? Or early 2020. Oh, that was when they were sold. Yeah, it was early 2021. You see all these in that first quarter that I was talking about. I was kind of experimenting with YouTube. So those are all outperforming by a little bit, even with the Comcast loser. And then a couple of these we've sold since the new launch, Pfizer and Norwegian. So Micron will move over here into this column after this update. But right now it's over here with the recent buy. So we bought that one in April. So we bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You had 6 editions in that April sell-off. So that, like I said, when there are things to buy, I am willing to buy them. And I'm willing to buy a lot of them. And all those except for Deckers have done really well. So we had Micron up over 100%, outperforming by 100%. We now have AMD after today's big gain up by 150% almost. And then a lot of other really solid, ELF is almost up 100%. So a lot of other solid winners. Basically over the past year, we've only had like one loser so far, which is Deckers, which I still think has a lot of potential. So overall, returns on these have been great. So let's get into the weekly picks returns. Let's see here. Again, so I remove the names of these. So the way this works is I assume that the position size is about 0.5%. And then I break this down into like 200 tranches. So over the course of about 4 years, 4 to 5 years, this will be filled up. So we've only sold 3 of these positions, and I haven't doubled any of them. So they're 53 unique stocks or something like that now. We started in October of last year, so we just crossed the year threshold. And these 3 right here that are in orange are the only ones we sold. This one is Micron, I'll tell you that, and this one is Novo Nordisk, and this one is a Japanese company that had some accounting issues, and so that's why it was sold. For the most part, this has been a very low turnover buy and hold-ish so far. I mean, the average holding period is 6 months because it's been going a year, and then 1 week we've added each stock. But the performance has been pretty phenomenal. By the way, there aren't any Nvidias in this list. There aren't any meme stocks. There really isn't anything that is in the news very much, other than a couple of the chip stocks. So, and I don't even think AMD was a weekly pick, just Micron. So, but we've managed to get some 100% gainers, which is great. Very few big losers, a couple in there, and no repeats. So a very diversified portfolio with all my strategies put forth, even REIT strategy. And the average return has been 24%. So annualized, that's over 40%. At the same purchased on the same date, S&P 500 returned about 13%. So very big outperformance. This is for all the stocks picked. Since we just sold a couple for the first time, if we look at of the 3 that were realized, this was the average return, pretty similar actually to the normal return. And then if we only include the current positions without the ones that were sold, again, pretty similar results so far. So for those people that think you can't have a big portfolio with over 50 positions and still outperform, we almost have doubled the S&P 500 return. And again, without buying, meme type stocks. I mean, Palantir is not in here. I think the only Mag 7 is Google, which was also on the public YouTube channel as a buy. So none of the crazy stuff, and we're still doing really well. I really hope this can continue. I do not expect to get returns like this over the long term. At some point, the market will shift and all these will lose a lot. But during the April downturn, we still outperformed the S&P 500. So it's not like it's a riskier portfolio, I don't think. Even during a downturn, I expect it will still outperform, but I don't expect to get 40% annualized returns. Sorry, those aren't normal. More like 12%, is a realistic long-term goal. But it would be awesome if we could do, better than that and get closer to 20%. Like, that would be great. But it's a really great service. Everybody really loves the weekly picks. It's simple. It's very simple. It's just me explaining the weekly picks. I usually give a little bit of market commentary if it's related to what's going on. And then I review the performance each week. And it's really good for people that are dollar cost averaging. They have like money coming in that they want to put into the market in the best place that they can, instead of being sucked into the 10 stocks that rule the S&P 500 or the story stocks that people are buying right now. So I'll put a link down in the description. It's in the description of all my videos, but if you're interested in that, go check it out. And I have a free tier on Patreon too if you don't want to pay. Okay, that's this quarter's review. Prepare yourself for a lot more individual analysis coming up with some minor tweaks due to just this being, a very expensive market with lots of different things that can go wrong. So you just have to be kind of extra careful with things. And those are some of the changes that I'm making. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. And I'll see you later.